Hey, this is Garrett with SweetsBench.com. For those of you hardcore riders out there wearing away your drivetrain, or anyone that just wants to give it a clean, this video is about how to remove and install your cassette.
For this job, you will need the appropriate cassette lock ring removal tool, an adjustable crescent wrench, and a chain whip. First, let's make sure your equipment is working. Start by giving the cassette a spin. It should spin freely. Next, wiggle the cassette. It'll have a little play, but it shouldn't be a lot. Now do the same thing with the axle. This should have no play at all. If you find a lot of play in either your axle or your cassette, that means you may have other issues and you might want to have a bike shop check it out. Start by placing the chain whip on the cassette like you see here. This stops the cassette from spinning when you go to loosen the lock ring. Insert the cassette lock ring removal tool into the lock ring now. If it doesn't fit, then you most likely have the wrong tool. Now put the crescent wrench on the lock ring tool opposite of the chain whip. Hold the chain whip in place and push down on the crescent wrench. It should come right off. Note that it may make a clicking noise as you loosen it. That's normal. The lock ring is regular thread, so lefty-loosey. The cassette should pull right off. If it fights you, wiggle it as you pull. Here's a side view. Make sure you keep your thumb on top so you don't send the cogs flying across the room. Wipe down the free hub body and apply a light coat of chain lube to avoid future corrosion. When installing the cassette, you want to look for the small spline on the free hub body. Line that up with the small notch on your cogs and they'll slide right on. Almost all cassettes will have a stamp on each cog with a tooth count. That should always face outward. After you get the cassette back on the free hub body, apply a small amount of grease to the threads of your lock ring and hand tighten it onto the cassette using the tool. Now just put the crescent wrench back on and tighten it down. It'll make a clicking noise and feel somewhat indexed as you tighten. That's normal. Tighten until it stops clicking. Now give your cassette a spin and you're ready to go. Boom.
As I click.
Freakish!